In Irish waters, I've seen blue whales just 60 miles from here. I've seen fin whales just 5 miles from here. Lots of minke whales. I've seen sowerbies very clearly off the coast here, west of Dingle, about 100 miles west of Dingle. I've seen trews, beaked whales, about 70, 80 miles west of here. Seen lots of Risso's dolphins, bottlenose dolphins, common dolphins, harbour porpoise, striped dolphins, all in Irish waters. Oh gosh, lots of humpbacks. Northern bottlenose whale, I forgot. My name is Patrick Lyne, and I'm here in Castletown Beara on the Beara Peninsula. The first time I saw a humpback was just here off the Beara Peninsula. So I do remember that day. Actually, I was out with my daughter and I was looking with the telescope far out onto the horizon and thinking I've seen some dolphins or whatever, and she was pointing out to something that was just below us on the cliffs, and I was going like, oh my God, there wasn't just a humpback, there was a fin whale as well. And they were, because I was looking with the telescope out onto the distance, I didn't pick up on them. I was looking too far away. And that's happened to me a few times. I've been on the cliffs here where I've been sitting down, sheltered out of the wind and watching animals in the distance or whatever, or not watching. I see getting nothing one day, I remember, and getting up to leave and slinging the telescope over my shoulder and packing up all my gear and I had to walk back up the cliff just a few meters. And there was a minke whale right underneath the cliff, in so close to the cliff he could have touched the rocks. But he was there, and I had got up about 3 times because I thought I heard a blow. But obviously each time I got up to look, I was too slow and there was nothing there when I got up, and I thought, oh, I'm just imagining it. It's probably just the way the gannets hit the water. Sometimes it sounds vaguely like a blow, and I thought, I'm probably just imagining it. And there he was just sitting below me. And now I know if I think I hear a blow, I go to the edge of the cliff and look down, because minke whales do come in very close. Well, I'm a bit of a mongrel when it comes to my background. I studied geology principally in college. I went to work in a bank in computers in London, and I worked through various companies in computing for a good number of years before we came back here. And I kind of got into the Irish Whale and Dolphin group, oddly enough, because I was doing a master's in computing with DCU at the time, and we had to research 3 websites. And I thought, well, I might as well do something I'm interested in. So I researched 3 websites dealing with whales and dolphins, and up came the Irish Whale and Dolphin group, which I at the time didn't even know existed. This would have been back, I don't know, about 2003, I think. And so I did a review of the website and the 2 others, and I actually thought the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group website was the best of the 3, and I put that in my report. But it was then that I started to really sort of wake up to the existence really of whales and dolphins around the Irish coast. I hadn't seen an awful lot of whales and dolphins, to be honest, prior to that. I knew they kind of existed, but I had no idea that they were quite so many as there are. And I know. I remember in 2005 I did actually a course on Cape Clear with Patrick Lyne, And it all sort of gradually spiraled out of control from there. I don't know if I have an official role at the moment. Don't know what my title is exactly. I have been the mitigation officer for a number of years, but most of that work was offshore with oil and gas. As of recent years, Simon has taken over a lot of that work because it's come inshore. A lot of it is in ports and harbours, and I get a little bored in ports and harbours work, to be honest. I much prefer to be on a boat. The possibilities of seeing things and the range of things that you see is just hugely more variable. And even though you can be in areas where you think, oh, there's nothing here, and you've been there for like days and days, and you're sort of looking out and you think, oh, there's nothing here, this is really boring. And then all of a sudden something happens, and it all changes, and you get, from feeling fairly miserable and bored, it all turns on a dime. Well, I suppose when you ask me about the spiritual connection to a whale or a dolphin, there's a couple of times I can think of. One time I was out in a 14-foot open boat, just out here, actually about less than a kilometre from here. And the back of the boat was probably about that much off the water, and the engine was I was just tootling along. There was a pod of dolphins feeding just near the boat, and there wasn't any particularly close to the boat, but then one came up and swam, and he was an arm's length away from me as I was leaning on the side of the boat, and I was looking at him, and he was looking at me, and it wasn't a long time that we spent going in the same direction. But it's fascinating when they look at you, and they look at you. They look right into your eye, and there's a sense of intelligence, and it's a question of, I'm not really sure whose intelligence is the greater, but I felt he was assessing me as much as I was assessing him. Similarly, at one time, longish time ago, in 2008, I was down in Kaikoura off New Zealand, where there's a deepwater canyon system with male sperm whales present all year round. And the kids were with us, and I wanted to get the kids out to see the sperm whales. I thought it's phenomenal. And if you're ever in New Zealand, it is something you should do. Myself and the 3 kids were up on the bow, and the few other people were back in the cabin and staying dry. And we were just standing there about 100 meters in front of the boat. The sperm whale breached clear out of the water. And I didn't bother to reach for my camera, which was under my coat, all zipped up, because I knew by the time I unzipped it, it would all be over. But it was the most amazing thing to watch the water just pour off this animal. And it's like, it felt like probably about 10 seconds, but he was probably only in the air for 2. But at the same time as he was up in the air with the water pouring off him, you could see his eye again. And it was, again, he was looking straight at us. It felt he was looking straight at us. And we were looking straight at him because, well, there was nothing else much worth, compared to him, there was nothing else worth looking at. But it was just, and he wasn't a particularly large male, but he was just, again, he was assessing us really, really. It's just, when they do decide to investigate you, there's a real curiosity, intelligence. There's a mind behind the eye. Not in the same way that perhaps a bird or another animal assesses you, that you really feel that there's a sense of intelligence behind the animal. And yeah, that's why I think we're dealing with, we share this earth with these animals, and it's just, to a certain extent, we should think of them as intelligent beings and not as just an animal that we can slaughter for our benefit if necessary.